you are trying to take Christian content creation seriously and you want to grow and you want to create a digital community and you want to lead a digital community and you want to partner with other Christian content creators and you want to have a platform, be able to share the message that you believe God has for you, and you want to be able to partner with businesses and things like that in order to be able to generate income, and like that's what you want, then you're going to be facing trials. When creators talk about growth, they usually talk about numerical growth, analytical growth, the growth that comes from the numbers, like how many viewers, how many followers, how many shares, how many likes, how many, all that stuff. And when a Christian content creator talks about growing, which is the same, like we all talk about growth and we all want to grow numerically, but we also add to it the idea of personal growth, spiritual growth, growth that actually is part of our character. As a non-Christian content creator or creator who is not thinking about that kind of stuff would be willing to compromise their integrity or become a worse character in order to have numbers. For Christian, we go, yeah, well, we would rather have no growth but keep our character. I always think of Psalm 139 when it comes to this growth thing, because Psalm 139 is kind of like a litmus test for Christians, how you are with God, right? At the very beginning, it talks about how God knows you, God sees you. God was the one who can tell what you're going to say before you say it, know where you're going to go before you go there, and he sees everything you do. And to the psalmist, that brings comfort, right? Then it says, when I try to escape you, I can't. With no matter how high I go, no matter how low I go, no matter how far I go, no matter how I try to hide, I can't hide from you. And that is a comfort to me, because even if I'm in a bad place, you will find me. Right. And then at the end, it talks about search me, O God, and know my heart, try me and know my thoughts, see if there is any grievous way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting. Because you know what I'm doing, because you understand me so well, what I want you to do is check all, give me the full checkup and then lead me proper. For Christian, we go, yeah, well, we would rather have the other side, which is interesting, and I've talked about this before, which is if you aren't on good terms with God, then Psalm 139 sounds very threatening, right? He's looking at you. He sees everything you do. You can't escape from him. He understands your thoughts. He knows what you're going to say. He knows what you meant. And every time you try to hide, no matter how dark you get, he sees what you're doing, right? So if you're trying to hide and you don't like that, you're going to be paranoid, right? Like, I don't want to be seen like that. That is, it makes me feel bad because I don't want them to see that. And then at the end, if it's try me, my thoughts, see if there is any grievous way in me, they wouldn't say that. They would be like, leave me alone, leave me to my grievous ways. Don't listen to my thoughts. I want my own stuff. I love Psalm 139 for that reason. Content creators, let's just go through this. Content creators, because of their platform and desire to gather followers, experience greater scrutiny, testing, and judgment than others. I think you'd all agree with that, correct? If you are someone who is trying to take content creation seriously, and that's kind of the baseline for what I believe the kind of people I can help. If you're doing this as a hobby, you're doing this just for fun, you're doing this because, whatever, you hit the go live button on your PS5 and you don't really care, like that's totally fine, totally valid. But if you are trying to take Christian content creation seriously and you want to grow and you want to create a digital community and you want to lead a digital community and you want to partner with other Christian content creators and you want to have a platform, be able to share the message that you believe God has for you, and you want to be able to partner with other, like businesses and things like that in order to be able to generate income, and like that's what you want, then you're going to be facing tests. You're going to be facing trials because you are going to be under a greater scrutiny, testing, and judgment than others. And that is a good thing, right? Like I said, 139, that's either going to be, I don't want greater scrutiny. I don't want to be tested. I don't want to be judged. Please leave me alone. I just want to be left alone. Or it's going to be good because I want to get better at what I do. I want to become more consistent in what I do. I want better character. I want, when I speak, for it to be of more value, right? So yes, please judge me. Please test me. Please scrutinize me. It's true across the board when it comes to influencers, Christian or otherwise, that once you're in the public eye, everything you do is going to be under scrutiny. right? And even if whether you flub it up, you make a mistake, you're heated, you're angry, whatever, the internet is forever. They will find it. How many examples do you know where there are creators who have said something that they didn't mean, or they end up, in a fit of anger, or trying to be funny or whatever, and they end up saying something that just kind of sticks with them forever. Like immediately I think of like PewDiePie and the bridge, right? It's just going to be with him forever, whether you like it or not. Why? Because the internet is forever, and he had a big platform. Anybody with a platform is going to be under scrutiny. You as a Christian content creator, if you want to grow as a creator, you also want to grow in your maturity. And that requires testing. Anything of quality has faced testing, professionals, products, and parts. Everything in this world that has value has faced some kind of test. Your professional, as in your doctor, lawyer, your teacher, your surgeon, your the guy who's fixing your pipes, like everybody has been tested. And the reason for that testing is because they are dealing with stuff that has a great big consequence, right? If the guy who's doing your pipes doesn't know what he's doing, your house floods. The guy who's doing your gas fitting doesn't know what he's doing, your house explodes. The surgeon that doesn't know what they're doing, wasn't tested, just decided to do it because they felt like it, is going to kill you. Like, these are really, really, really important products. If your toaster isn't tested, it burns down your house. If your fridge isn't tested, your food goes bad. Like, we want everything that we're going to be using, everything of use to us, everything that is going to help our lives, change our lives, bring into our home, we want it to be tested, right? We want someone to say, this won't burn down your house. And in the same way, you as a content creator, you as a Christian content creator who wants influence, people want the same thing. They want to see that you have been tested, and therefore they can bring you into their house. They will start the relationship, when they can trust you. How do I trust you? Because I know you've been tested. How do I know you've been tested? Because you've gone through some rough stuff, right? I say that the hard things that I've been through is actually a golden ticket for me to actually be able to talk to people other people can't talk to. Because when they go, you don't understand, I can go, actually, I do, because I've been there. And how can I build that trust? Because I've been through that situation. I've been through that test, and now they're going through it. God doesn't want you or your followers to be hurt by your lack of maturity. If you are not growing, or you're stagnating, or you are wondering why, your church, your ministry, your life, your family, your money, your employment, your content creation, if you're wondering why it's not growing, or you're not having the influence that you wish you had, consider that it could be that you don't necessarily want that growth, okay? Because if you had that growth, if you had got what your wish is, you would not only screw it all up, but it would lead you to problems that you don't recognize that you're going to have, and you will hurt people that you say you want to care for. And you're like, no, I wouldn't. But you would, right? Jesus says that if you're trustworthy with a little bit, you can be trusted with more. Well, if you have not passed the test of the little bit, then you are definitely not going to be capable of the more, right? If he gives you a little bit of money and you can't handle budgeting that, he's not going to give you a giant budget. If you can't be kind and gentle and truthful and loving towards the small group of people he's got you in front of, he's not going to expand you to other people. And if you force that and you end up there, you're going to hurt people. What are you doing with the little bit you have now is going to show exponentially what you're going to be doing with others. For you, you might be resentful of God. You might be like, God called me into this, or I'm supposed to be doing this, or I'm supposed to grow, and why isn't he doing that? Why is so-and-so growing? Why is this other Christian creator doing stuff? Why is, et cetera, and not me? And if you can remember that God doesn't want you or your followers to be hurt by your lack of maturity, you can kind of go, okay, it could be that I'm in the middle of a test. It could be that I am facing something right now that I need to get through, that I need to understand. Maybe I'm in a training time. Maybe I'm in a time where I'm just, learning stuff, and I shouldn't be in charge. Is that where I'm at? Am I being trained and tested right now? If so, then maybe that's a good thing, and I shouldn't be growing. What is God testing me in? What is God showing me right now that I need to figure out so that I can pass the test so I can move on? If you want your content to be used by God to influence the world, you're going to face a screening process to show what you're made of. One of the gifts that God gives is that he will give you a test, sometimes big, sometimes little, sometimes you don't even notice it, but it is a test of your character to show you where you're at right now, what you can be trusted with. And not just because God is testing to see if you can handle it. He knows if you can handle it. He's showing you if you can handle it. So if you want your content to grow, you want your influence to grow, if you want God to use you in this world, then he's going to, the requirement is the screening process, is to show you what you're made of. So what is a test? Let's just kind of break it down and define it, because I think that way you can kind of see if you're going through a test right now, because your life is full of tests. Okay. They don't stop. They never will stop. Every day in this world, like if you think of like the multiverse theory and all that stuff that we see in every time travel like movie, it's always like, well, that one choice splits everything, right? That one thing you decided, go this way or go that way, that changes the entire universe. It changes everything from that point on. That point, that, you know, that idea is kind of true. And that every time you make a decision, every time you're kind of doing something and you have two ways to go, it's kind of like a test. There's the right way and the wrong way. Not always. Like if you're sitting in front of a buffet and you've got the choice between shrimp or chicken, and like, it's like, is that a moral choice? Like, no, because that's not what we're talking about. But there are a lot of opportunities in your life for compromise or for integrity. So what is a test? A test is an opportunity which challenges us to demonstrate our potential and maturity. Okay, let's break that down real quick. So a test is an opportunity, which means it's a positive thing, right? It's a chance. If your boss came to you, or your job came to you, or someone came to you and is like, hey, I want to give you a promotion. And you were like, awesome. And they said, but I need you to demonstrate that you can do the job, right? Here is the opportunity. Here's a sample, or here's a group, or here's a thing, here's a job. If you can do this, I know I can trust you. It's an opportunity, right? When you're standing before someone and they are screaming their little head off at you, it is an opportunity that is challenging you. And you go, okay, how do I respond? In grace? Am I responding in truth? Am I responding with my emotions? Am I responding with my intellect? Am I taking the time? Is it triggering me in some way? If someone hands you a pile of money, what you do with it, or something goes really, really well, is an opportunity for you to be challenged for what you're going to do. I think of, as a content creator, that first $100. If you're on YouTube or if you're on Twitch, I don't know how it works on the other platforms, but you have to make at least $100 before they will give you the money, right? You have to get to a certain threshold before they'll cut the check. So the question is, right, that's a great example of a test, right? Of what are you going to do with that money? So there's the $100 in front of you. It's coming in. You've said you want to be a content creator. You said you want to grow. You said you want to do this. People have invested in you. You've gotten some money. Here it comes. There's your test. What are you going to do with it? It's either going to be, oh, cool, that's for me. I'm going to go have pizza. Or you're going to see it and go, I'm going to reinvest this in the content. I need a better mic, or I need a better camera, or I want to, help my community or do something fun with my community, or I want to get a prize. I'm going to do something, because that money will allow me to grow my platform. Your instinct inside of you when that money shows up is going to test you, challenge you, give you an opportunity to demonstrate what you're going to do with the money that you earn as a content creator. And if you instinctually run straight to sin or run straight to waste, then you have demonstrated, you've shown that that's what you will do. What is it? An opportunity which challenges us. So it's going to be challenging, right? If it wasn't hard to do, it wouldn't be a test. It might not be that hard, but it's still going to be hard to demonstrate, as in you will show to God, you will show to yourself, you will show to the people you are serving, and the church and your parents and anybody else around. You will demonstrate, you will show everybody, including yourself, your potential, as in what you're going to be doing, what you're capable of in the future, who you're going to become, and your maturity, as in who you are now. If you fail the test, if you do the immature thing, you are showing right now your potential is bad and you shouldn't be trusted. So tests reveal where you compromise, ways you've stagnated, and how you've grown. So you will know yourself better through the test. You'll know where you compromise. For example, you have the chance to serve somewhere. So do you compromise your integrity by not showing up on time? Do you try to, show off and say, oh, aren't I great for doing service? Do you serve humbly? It shows you where you're willing to compromise. Where you said one thing, I believe I should this. The Bible says that this is important. I grew up that this was critical. And yet you will compromise that integrity, compromise that value because of this. It'll show you, it'll reveal how far you're willing to compromise. You'll be friends with that person right up until this point. You'll be committed to that person right up to this point. You'll be able to control yourself on the internet right up to this point. You'll be able to have this much food in your house up to this point. At what point do you compromise? It shows ways you've stagnated, that you have not necessarily compromised, but you're not growing. You get a test, it'll challenge you, and it'll show you your spiritual, your emotional stagnation. For example, your devos are exactly the same. Your spiritual life is actually the same. Your conversations are the same. You're not studying anymore than you were before. You're not learning anymore. You're not talking to new people. You're not learning. You're not trying to discover like new music. Or you're not trying to discover new methods. You're not trying to learn more stuff. You're just like, and then a test comes in and there's something rough happening, which is, hey, you need to go deeper with God, which is, hey, there's stuff you don't know. Hey, there's people that you didn't know existed. Hey, there's an opportunity in front of you that you didn't know was there. And it's showing you ways you've stagnated, that you haven't been growing. Not that our entire life is meant to be, one straight up trajectory, but we are going to be growing for our whole life, growing in holiness, growing in knowledge of God, growing in knowledge of each other, growing in love, growing in self-control. Like we're going to be doing that for our whole life. And if there's points at which you just get tired of it, you settle on that sin. You settle on that, I will care about only this many people. I will care about, I don't really, I'll just be kind of racist a little bit, just about them. I just can't get over it. We'll move on. Things like that. And it'll show you how you've grown. So you get a test, you pass the test, and you go, wait a minute, I wouldn't have passed that last year. That's pretty good. And it shows you ways that you have matured.